today is gonna be the day that they're gonna throw it back to you. By now, you should have somehow realized what you gotta do.
What was the style like in the 1990s?
The style of clothing? Well, I don't think it really had any type of style. It was more, I guess, colorful and professional. I remember being it more professional.
Okay. And how different are the cars today than the cars then?
Well, today they drive themselves. They can back up themselves. They can. Some are electric. They don't need gasoline. Pretty soon they're going to have wings and fly.
Okay. What were the what was it like when the internet and phones were there? Came out.
I'm sorry, honey?
When the phones and the internet came out?
Oh, well, when the first phone came out, it was huge. It was the bag. It was called a phone in a bag. And it was just huge. Now, they're just handheld, and it just opened up the whole world. But at the same time, it now connects you. You're never really unconnected unless you are out in a remote area where there is no internet. And it's sort of sad because, you do need that alone time and do need to be disconnected.
Okay. What do you remember from when O.J. Simpson was found not guilty?
I just recall watching that whole trial underway, and just the different emotions from both sides, the prosecution and the defense, and the tactics that they use to manipulate the jury. And I'll never forget when that was announced. The sheer sadness of the families that were affected by the murders, and watching those lawyers, both sides, they were just so convicted to what they believed happened, and the outrage of the people that think that he's guilty, and then just watching the joy on the people's faces as though some hero, that their hero was now free to go out and about and do his thing. I'm thankful that he's behind bars for another reason, because I do believe he's guilty.
Okay. And what kind of TV shows do you remember from the 1990s?
Seinfeld was my absolute favorite. TV was really not my thing to watch. Friends, that was a fun show to watch. Grey's Anatomy, I think, was there, a little drama. You still had your game shows in the mornings and the soap operas in the afternoon. I didn't watch them. I'm just recalling what was on. Now it's just nothing is on.
Okay. What do you remember about the World Trade Center being bombed?
I remember every split second of that day, being in my office, Joy coming in and saying, you know, a plane went into the Trade Center and we just thought it was a little commuter train, and I was...
Anybody feels the way I do about you now.
working in Upper Saddle River, and I had a view of that skyline, and it was incredible looking out and looking at all that smoke, and then really tuning into the news and seeing that the horror. I work for a company in California that was so disconnected from the situation that they required us to be at work. They didn't understand why we weren't answering the phones. It was just a very chaotic day, and all we wanted to do was go home and be with our family. I knew a few people in the city and tried to connect with them, especially my brother-in-law, who takes the PATH train right into, from Hoboken right into the World Trade Center, and that was very, very difficult day because you couldn't get a hold of anybody. And then since then, it's you know, bring us all back together. It's the world just came together. But I do remember thinking about these people in California not understanding the severity of it. They had the same news, but they just didn't understand. I mean, certainly now they do, but you know, it was just work as usual. And we haven't been the same since.
Okay. What do you remember about the mad cow disease that hit Britain?
Just the fear of the people. I didn't really, I remember it, but it didn't affect me.
Okay. What do you remember about the collapse of the Soviet Union?
Hi, Snickers. That was another huge day in the history of the world. You know, people were free, and just I'm trying to recall where I was and what I was doing that day, but it was just a very... Why are you laughing, Sarah?
Because the dog.
It's just one of those situations where it didn't affect me, but I remember watching the news broadcasts and listening to
Backbeat, the word